hell did that happen? I mean, seriously, the Gilded Age just dropped one of the most shocking moments of the entire season, and I'm still not okay. Oscar's life has completely fallen apart, and it feels like the writers are actively trying to crush him at this point. And don't even get me started on that death. Yes, the rumors were true, and I can't believe they actually went through with it. The way it happened? Brutal, heartbreaking, completely unfair. And now, as if that wasn't enough, the trailer for episode 7 is teasing even more chaos. Larry and Marian might actually be done for good, Bertha is on the warpath, and there are some major alliances forming that could blow the entire social hierarchy to pieces. We need to break this all down because this upcoming episode is going to change everything. Let's start with Oscar because, wow, he is having the absolute worst time of his life. The ending of episode 6 was devastating enough, but the trailer for episode 7 is making it painfully clear that things are only going to get darker for him. We see that chilling shot of Oscar and John's photographs side by side in black and white, and it's almost unbearable. It's like the show is reminding us that John is truly gone and that Oscar's world has completely collapsed. The pain in Oscar's face in the trailer is heartbreaking, but what's even worse is how hard he's trying to hide it. He's sitting with his mother and Aunt Ada, acting like nothing is wrong, and Agnes actually says the words, "Men don't feel these things the way women do." Can we just pause and process how out of touch that is? This isn't just a casual friendship that Oscar has lost. This is the love of his life, and now he's being told to just brush it off. How long can he keep pretending before the grief destroys him? And that's where I start to worry. We know Oscar's entire storyline has been building up so much tension, societal pressure, his secret relationships, his financial problems. And now he's lost the one person who truly understood him. The trailer makes me wonder if we're heading into a really dark place for Oscar. Could he spiral completely? Some fans are already theorizing about whether this could lead to him doing something drastic, and honestly, I hate that I can see it happening. There's even a moment in the trailer where Marian is by his side, and it's a reminder that she might be the only person left who actually understands how deep this loss cuts. But will that be enough to save him? Or is Oscar going to push everyone away? While Oscar's world is crumbling, Marian's own life isn't looking so great either. The trailer hints at major trouble for her and Larry, and it's honestly frustrating to watch. In episode 6, Marian didn't even wait to hear Larry's side of the story before breaking off their engagement through a letter. She just assumed the worst, sent the ring back, and closed the door on their future together. Now we see Larry reading that letter in the trailer, holding the ring in his hand, and you can see the disbelief and anger in his face. It's heartbreaking because you know he's probably assuming that his mother, Bertha, is somehow behind this. She's never been Marian's biggest fan, and Larry has every reason to think she might have interfered. But we know that's not true. Marian made this choice on her own, and now she's saying things like, "There's nothing to be done. I've closed the subject." Is she really serious about ending things for good? And here's where I can't help but get annoyed with Marian. Yes, Larry lied to her about where he was going the day of their engagement, but was that really enough to completely cut him off without a conversation? She's acting as if he betrayed her in the worst possible way, but all he was really trying to do was fix a massive problem that could have ruined his family. It's hard not to see her reaction as impulsive and unfair, and the trailer doesn't make it look like she's softening anytime soon. Larry shows up at the Van Ryn house, clearly ready to explain everything and fight for their relationship, but will Marian even listen? Or has she convinced herself that it's over? Meanwhile, Bertha is back in New York, and it's clear she's not wasting any time reestablishing control. The trailer shows her sitting in the Van Ryn house alongside Mrs. Astor and Mrs. Fish. And you just know that can only mean one thing: war. Ward McAllister's book is about to cause absolute chaos in high society, and these women are ready to take him down. The real-life Ward McAllister published a book that revealed all kinds of scandalous secrets about New York's elite, and it looks like the show is about to dive headfirst into that storyline. The trailer shows Mrs. Fane, Mrs. Fish, and Bertha all reacting to the book with pure outrage, And honestly, I can't wait to see how this blows up. Will they try to banish Ward completely from society? Will this be Bertha's chance to cement her position at the very top? But Bertha has more problems than just a tell-all book. The trailer hints that she and George are finally going to uncover the mole who's been leaking information from inside their home. Remember how Mrs. Bruce suspected Andre, Bertha's maid, in episode 6? That moment in England where Andre was lingering in the hallway, clearly eavesdropping, suddenly makes a lot more sense. If Bertha finds out Andre is the traitor, you know she won't hesitate to deal with her swiftly and ruthlessly. Bertha might not be the most sentimental mother, but when it comes to protecting her family's reputation, there is no one more dangerous. And speaking of family, Gladys seems to be stepping fully into her mother's shoes while Bertha was away in England. We saw it starting to happen in episode 6, but the trailer shows her looking more confident and commanding than ever before. There's even a moment where she's with Hector, and you can sense that the dynamic between them is shifting. Are we about to see a real relationship start to develop there? Or is this just Gladys learning how to wield her power like Bertha taught her? Either way, Lady Sarah won't be happy, and I'm already excited to see that inevitable confrontation. Now let's dive even deeper because the trailer for episode 7 isn't just about Oscar's heartbreak or Marian's stubbornness. There are layers of power plays and betrayals brewing that could completely reshape the social order in the Gilded Age. One of the most fascinating threads in this upcoming episode is the ripple effect of Ward McAllister's book. The trailer makes it clear that the high society women of New York are furious about the revelations inside it, and honestly, who can blame them? In their world, reputation is everything, and now Ward has thrown grenades into the very heart of their carefully constructed images. Bertha, Mrs. Astor, and Mrs. Fish are all shown gathering together in the Van Ryn household, which is wild because we all know these women don't exactly love each other. But when a common enemy threatens their social standing, they will unite in an instant. And I have to say Bertha is probably the most dangerous of the trio. She's ambitious, calculating, and she's not going to let anyone, even a man as influential as Ward McAllister, jeopardize her climb to the very top of society. The trailer shows her speaking with a chilling calmness, which usually means she's already several steps ahead of everyone else. I wouldn't be surprised if she's the one orchestrating Ward's complete exile from their world. And here's the thing. Bertha isn't just fighting for status anymore. She's fighting to protect everything she's built, including her family's name. This ties directly into the subplot of the mole in the Russell household. In episode 6, we saw Mrs. Bruce starting to suspect that Andre might be the one leaking information, and the trailer hints that those suspicions might be correct. There's a quick shot of Bertha and George looking absolutely livid, which means they probably know exactly who's been betraying them. And if it is Andre? Let's just say her time under Bertha's roof is over. We've seen Bertha take down people far more powerful than a maid, and she doesn't forgive betrayal. What's fascinating is how this mole storyline is intersecting with everything else. The book, the alliances, and even Bertha's growing influence. When she strikes back, it won't just be about punishing the traitor, it'll be about sending a message to everyone who dares to underestimate her. Meanwhile, Marian's personal drama is spiraling out of control, and it's frustrating because so much of it feels avoidable. In the trailer, she's telling Peggy that there's nothing to be done, and that she's closed the subject when it comes to Larry. That kind of finality feels so cold, especially when we know she hasn't even heard his explanation. Larry is shown arriving at the Van Ryn house, desperate to talk to her, and you can see the pain in his eyes. He's not just fighting for his relationship, he's fighting against a misunderstanding that could ruin his future. But will Marian even give him the chance? Here's where I think Marian's pride might be getting in the way. She feels betrayed, yes, but it's clear from the trailer that she still loves Larry. She's just too hurt, and maybe too embarrassed to admit that she might have overreacted. This makes me wonder if someone else, maybe Peggy or even Oscar, will step in and remind Marian what she's about to lose. Because let's face it, Bertha might already be quietly celebrating this breakup. She was never thrilled about Larry marrying Marian without her knowledge, and now she can swoop in and try to guide Larry toward a more suitable match. That would be classic Bertha. Speaking of Peggy, her storyline is about to explode as well. We see her and Dr. William enjoying a quiet picnic in the trailer, but we all know that moment of happiness won't last. William's mother, Elizabeth Kirkland, has learned about Peggy's past, and the trailer strongly suggests she's going to use that information against her. It's such a classic Gilded Age trope, the disapproving mother-in-law who can't stand the idea of her son marrying someone she deems unworthy. Elizabeth is clearly that woman, and she's not going to hold back. The question is, how will William react when his mother confronts him with Peggy's history? Here's the part that worries me. William doesn't exactly seem like the type to stand up to his mother. He's kind, yes, but he's also soft-spoken, and maybe even a little timid when it comes to family pressure. If Elizabeth decides to blow this up in front of everyone, Peggy could find herself completely humiliated, and William might just cave. That would be devastating for Peggy, who has fought so hard to build a life for herself in a society that doesn't exactly welcome her. And we know from the mid-season trailer that this secret is going to cause a massive rift between them. Will Peggy end up heartbroken too? Or will she finally stand up to the Kirklands and demand to be treated as an equal? While all of this is happening, we can't ignore the tension building around Oscar. The trailer paints a very bleak picture of his future. Agnes's comment that men don't feel these things the way women do is bad enough, but it also shows how isolated Oscar is. He can't openly grieve for John because that would mean revealing the true nature of their relationship. And so, he's forced to smile, nod, and pretend like he's fine when he's actually falling apart inside. That level of repression is dangerous. The trailer doesn't give us much hope for Oscar's emotional state improving anytime soon. There's a moment where Marian is seen with him and you can tell she's trying to comfort him, but how much can she really do? She's dealing with her own heartbreak, and Oscar might be too proud or too ashamed to fully open up. This is why fans are so worried about him. Every loss, every betrayal, every societal expectation has been weighing him down, and now the one person who made life bearable is gone. If the writers are trying to push Oscar to the brink, they're succeeding. And then there's this strange, brief shot in the trailer of Mr. Borden walking erratically down the street. It's completely out of context, and it raises so many questions. Is his identity somehow revealed in McAllister's book? Is he connected to the mole in the Russell household? Or is this something darker, maybe even connected to the mysterious death that shocked us all in episode 6? The trailer gives us nothing, which means whatever is happening with Borden is probably huge. Finally, let's talk about Gladys. She is truly coming into her own, and I love it. The trailer shows her with Hector in England, and you can tell she's no longer the timid girl she used to be. She's more confident, more assertive, and you just know Lady Sarah is going to hate it. There's a moment where Gladys gives Hector a look that suggests their relationship is evolving, and honestly, I'm here for it. But this also sets the stage for some major drama, because Lady Sarah has always treated Gladys like a child. Now that Gladys is stepping up and taking control, there's bound to be a clash. And knowing the Gilded Age, it's going to be explosive. The stakes in episode 7 feel impossibly high, and every single character is standing at a crossroads. Let's circle back to Bertha because honestly, she might be the one pulling the strings on multiple storylines without even trying. The trailer teases that she's building powerful alliances with Mrs. Astor and Mrs. Fish in response to Ward McAllister's book. But it's clear that Bertha's true motivation goes beyond damage control. She's still hungry for that permanent seat at the very top of New York society, and this crisis might actually be the perfect opportunity to cement her place there. Think about it. If Bertha leads the charge to destroy Ward McAllister's credibility, she not only removes a dangerous gossip from their world, but also positions herself as the ultimate protector of high society. That's the kind of move Mrs. Astor would respect, and Bertha knows it. What's really fascinating here is how the book storyline ties into the mole subplot in the Russell household. If Andre is indeed the one betraying Bertha and George, then the leaks from inside their house might even connect to McAllister's revelations. Can you imagine if the information that undermines Bertha's social rise comes directly from someone she trusted under her own roof? That would explain the sheer rage we see on her and George's faces in the trailer. And knowing Bertha, she's not going to simply fire the mole and move on. She will make sure that person is completely ruined. This isn't just about revenge. It's about sending a message to everyone in their circle that the Russells are untouchable. But even as Bertha consolidates power, Her own family's drama is threatening to spin out of control. Larry is heartbroken, angry, and maybe even beginning to resent Marian for ending things the way she did. The trailer shows him confronting Marian at the Van Ryn house, and it looks intense. This isn't the charming, patient Larry we're used to. This is a man who feels betrayed and desperate. And the worst part is, Bertha might use this moment to wedge herself even further between the two of them. She was never thrilled about the engagement in the first place, and now she can position herself as the voice of reason in Larry's ear. You see, Marian doesn't respect you. She doesn't belong in this family. That's exactly the kind of subtle manipulation Bertha excels at. Will Larry listen? Up until now, he's always been the more grounded, compassionate member of the Russell family, someone who doesn't play the same ruthless games as his mother. But heartbreak can change a person, and if he believes Marian truly abandoned him without a second thought, he might harden in ways that surprise us. Could Larry start behaving more like George, throwing himself into business and social ambitions instead of relationships? Or will he fight for Marian, even if it means going against Bertha's wishes? Marian, for her part, seems determined to shut the door on the relationship. That line in the trailer, "There's nothing to be done," is haunting because it sounds final. But let's be honest. Marian's storylines have always been about her inner conflict between her head and her heart. Right now, her head is telling her to move on, but her heart clearly isn't ready. You can see it in her face when she's alone, when she talks to Peggy, when she tries to convince herself she made the right decision. If Larry shows up with the full truth about why he lied, could that change everything? Or is Marian too proud to admit she was wrong? This brings us back to Oscar, because in many ways his arc is a darker mirror of Marian's. Like Marian, he's lost someone he loves, but unlike her, he can't talk about it openly. He can't process his grief because the world around him refuses to even acknowledge that his relationship with John was real. Agnes's dismissive comment that men don't feel these things the way women do isn't just cruel. It's symbolic of the isolation Oscar faces every single day. He's trapped in a society that demands he hide his true self, and now he's being forced to hide his grief too. That combination is dangerous, and the trailer's somber tone suggests Oscar might be heading into a very dark place emotionally. One of the most powerful images from the trailer is Marian by Oscar's side. She's probably the only one who fully understands how much he's hurting, and that makes me wonder if Oscar will finally let his guard down with her. Could this tragedy bring the two of them closer together? They've always had a quiet, genuine bond, and Marian's compassion might be the one thing that prevents Oscar from completely breaking. But at the same time, there's only so much she can do. Marian is drowning in her own heartbreak, and Oscar might not want to burden her further. Peggy's storyline is about to explode as well, and it's hard not to feel anxious for her. The trailer makes it clear that Elizabeth Kirkland is going to confront William about Peggy's past, and this could easily become a turning point in their relationship. We already know that William deeply loves Peggy, but he's also deeply loyal to his mother. If Elizabeth threatens to disown him or ruin Peggy's reputation, what will he do? Will he stand by Peggy and defy his mother, or will he crumble under the pressure? This is a particularly cruel situation for Peggy because she's already had to overcome so many obstacles just to be where she is. She's built a career for herself, she's rebuilt her life after devastating loss, and now she might lose the person she loves because of secrets she's been trying to leave in the past. The trailer doesn't give us any clear answers, but the tension in those picnic scenes is palpable. You just know that Elizabeth's interference is going to shatter that happiness in an instant. And then there's the lingering mystery of Mr. Borden. That quick shot of him stumbling down the street in the trailer is bizarre and unsettling. What does it mean? Is he drunk? Injured? Or is this connected to a larger revelation that could impact multiple characters? Some fans are speculating that Borden's identity could be linked to the secrets in Ward McAllister's book, which would explain why he's acting so erratically. Others think he might have information about the mole in the Russell household. Either way, the fact that the trailer highlighted him at all means he's going to play a significant role in the upcoming episode. Finally, Gladys. Watching her grow into her own power has been one of the most satisfying parts of this season, and the trailer suggests she's only going to get stronger. That moment where she shares a lingering look with Hector? It might seem small, but it's a sign that Gladys is no longer content to simply be a pawn in other people's plans. She's starting to make her own choices, build her own alliances, and possibly even shape her own future with Hector. But of course, Lady Sarah isn't going to stand for that. You can practically hear her seething every time Gladys asserts herself, and that tension is bound to boil over soon. What's incredible about all these storylines is how interconnected they are. Every decision one character makes ripples outward and affects everyone else. Bertha's moves against Ward McAllister will shape the entire social landscape. Marian's choice about Larry could change the course of the Russell family's future. Oscar's grief could lead to a devastating spiral. Peggy's relationship with William is on the line, and Gladys is quietly stepping into a position of influence that could surprise everyone. As we head into episode 7, one thing is crystal clear. This isn't just another mid-season episode. This is the one where everything the characters have been hiding, suppressing, or running from is about to explode into the open. The trailer makes it clear that there will be no easy resolutions and no safe places for anyone. Every relationship is hanging by a thread, every alliance is fragile, and the fallout from Ward McAllister's book is going to be absolutely nuclear. Bertha, as always, is at the center of the storm. She's already preparing her next power play, and if we've learned anything about her, it's that she'll turn any crisis into an opportunity. The way she's calmly sitting with Mrs. Astor and Mrs. Fish in the Van Ryn house says it all. Bertha Russell isn't just surviving, she's strategizing. But even with all her power, there are cracks forming beneath the surface. The mole in her house has exposed how vulnerable she can be when someone close to her turns against her. Will she manage to close that wound before it becomes a weapon her enemies can use against her? Or will this be the one challenge even Bertha can't spin to her advantage? Then there's Marian and Larry, whose relationship seems to be dangling over a cliff. The letter, the returned ring, the heartbreaking finality of Marian's words, it's all so devastating because we know how much these two care about each other. Larry will show up at the Van Ryn house ready to fight for what they have, but will Marian even open the door to hear him out? If she doesn't, that might be the biggest mistake she's ever made, because once Bertha sees that opening, she'll swoop in and make sure her son moves on for good. And once Bertha gets involved, there's no going back. Oscar's future feels even darker. The loss of John has left him hollow, and he's being forced to carry that grief in complete silence. The image of his and John's photographs side by side is haunting, not just because it marks the end of their love story, but because it's a reminder that Oscar will never be allowed to publicly mourn the man he loved. Agnes's casual dismissal of his feelings could push him further into isolation, and that's what makes this storyline so terrifying. The trailer shows Marian by his side, but even she might not be able to reach him if he shuts down completely. Could Oscar's pain push him to a breaking point? Peggy and William are also in dangerous territory. Elizabeth Kirkland's disapproval is about to become a weapon, and Peggy's past, something she's worked so hard to overcome, might be used to tear her life apart. William loves her, but love isn't always enough when family pressure is this intense. Will he stand by her, or will he crumble? Watching Peggy brace herself for that possibility is going to be gut-wrenching, especially because she's already endured so much. And Gladys, quiet, underestimated Gladys, might actually be the biggest surprise in episode 7. She's no longer the obedient young girl being pushed around by everyone else's plans. She's building confidence, finding her voice, and possibly even falling for Hector. But Lady Sarah isn't going to tolerate Gladys stepping into her own power, and you can practically feel that showdown coming. Gladys might be Bertha's daughter, but will she be ready for the same level of cutthroat confrontation her mother thrives on? There's so much to unpack, and the trailer gives us just enough to know that the stakes couldn't be higher. Every storyline is colliding, and the consequences are going to be massive. Oscar's grief, Marian and Larry's fractured relationship, Bertha's dangerous alliances, Peggy's fight for love, Gladys's rise, Episode 7 is setting up to be one of the most explosive episodes the Gilded Age has ever given us. What do you think is going to happen? Will Marian finally realize she's making a huge mistake before it's too late? Can Oscar survive this heartbreak without losing himself completely? Will Bertha actually succeed in taking Ward McAllister down, or could his book reveal something that turns the tables on her? And most importantly, who's next? Because after that shocking death in episode 6, it feels like nobody is safe.